A staggering 27% of young people report being bullied every 2 weeks or more. And today, over 900,000 students across Australia will stand together to take action.
Yeah, good on them. It's a topic close to every parent's heart, and also one that has personally affected actress Michaela Bannis and Victorian Australian of the Year John Caldwell. They join us now, along with Justin Coulson, our favourite child behaviour expert. But Michaela, your story was interesting when I was reading it last night because I was shocked. I mean, you're one of our nation's sweethearts. You know, we love you on the TV here, but the fact that you went through really proper bullying as a child.
Yeah.
And quite a violent attack as well.
Yeah, well, you know, back in those days, and we're talking 20 years ago, there wasn't the social media thing and all that sort of stuff, but I wanted to be cool. I was not cool in primary school, wanted to be cool when I got to high school. Got to high school, tried to get in with the cool group, and long story short, ended up getting beaten up after school one afternoon by a girl, and but quite badly beaten. She punched me several times in the head, kicked me. I've still got a couple of scars from a steel cap.
So you're still scarred? A steel cap shoe?
Well, steel cap docs were cool back then.
Yeah.
It was the early 90s. So a couple of marks on my legs still from that, and then another person got me in a headlock and they cut my hair off. And the funny thing is, we were talking a bit about this before we came on today, and I was saying, you know, it's so much more behind the scenes now with social media, but it's not necessarily. And I think I probably wouldn't have told my parents, I don't think, but I had no choice because I was
coming home
bleeding from the mouth.
I had no hair.
And I had no hair,
right.
and I was bruised and battered, so yeah, I couldn't hide it. But
John, you also were the victim of bullying. You came from a dysfunctional family, didn't you? There was quite a bit of violence there. So just tell us a little about what life was like for you at school.
It was horrendous. I think because we were a dysfunctional family, we were really poor as well. So I copped it for being the poorest kid in the school, usually the only kid without a uniform, occasionally the only kid without shoes. So there was all these targets, and then early teens pop around and I started getting bullied for being this thing called gay. I didn't even know what that was at the point. So I just copped it from every angle, and it was pretty horrendous.
But I think what's interesting about your story as well, and I think a lot of kids would relate to that, is that OK, you're having this sort of nightmare thing happening at school where you're being bullied, but then you've got nothing at home to support you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of work now with teachers particularly to say, you've got to look what's happening in these kids' lives beyond the schoolyard, and that was probably the worst thing, was going home and there was no one to talk to at all. So.
And I think sometimes even when parents are interested, they don't necessarily know what the signs are, Justin. What do they need to be on the lookout for to see whether or not their child is being bullied at school?
It's really hard because kids often don't want to talk to mum and dad about it. They just think, no, I'll deal with it, because if mum and dad get involved, it's going to get awful. You know,
it can get worse.
It can get worse because mum and dad usually want to go and bully the bullies, which doesn't often work too well. So signs to look out for: when the kids are becoming really emotional and quite withdrawn. You know, when they start just saying, no, I don't want to be around anyone, they want to get away from everything.
I don't want to jump in here, but, you know, this is a difficult place to sort of discover where that is and what it is with teenagers especially.
Absolutely.
They're going through a lot anyway.
That's exactly. And a lot of the behaviours that I'm going to describe are kind of common in teenagers anyway. You know, like getting really secretive and obsessive about being on the computer and locking themselves in the room. Now, if your child's being bullied, especially cyber-bullied, they're going to be hiding and looking for every opportunity they can to get online to find out who's saying what on Kik or Ask FM or Snapchat or whatever. They're going to be really secretive about it. If they're coming home injured, that's a pretty good sign that there could be trouble. But also if they're really angry and emotional. Anger comes from either fear or sadness or stress. So if the kids are stressed out and sad, they'll often lash out and get quite angry. And one more, and that's just the physical symptoms of saying, I'm sick, I've got a headache, I've got a tummy ache, I don't want to go to school, I'm trying to get away from people, friends, family.
I don't want to go to school thing is probably, for parents, is a big signal. I mean, if they really don't want to go to school, there's a reason for that. So typically it's where their friends are, it's where their social circle is. So I find that a really big giveaway for parents if they're avoiding school.
But Michaela, how can parents protect their kids? That's all we want to do, is protect our kids from this.
Look, you know, obviously I'm not an expert, but I think, you know, we talk a lot about the victims.
Well, what did your parents do when it happened to you?
Oh, they went to the school. I mean, they had to. There was physical violence was involved. We were in school uniform in a public place, so you know. But the reprimand she got did not fit the crime. I think she got suspended for 2 days. That was it. So then, you know, 2 days later, when I had bruising and stuff, I had to see her in the corridors. But I think we talk a lot about the victims, and I think because as an actor, I've recently played a bully in a television program, and so I had to investigate, well, why would someone behave this way? We need to look at the other side of it, I guess, as parents, and if your child is becoming violent or is, you know, lashing out or being a bully themselves, I think we maybe need to address that
I think we
side.
should actually do another panel on that as well, and we'll do, like, what if your kid is the bully? We'd like to bring you guys back in for that as well.
For more information on how to deal with issues surrounding bullying, head to the government website bullyingnoway.gov.au. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.